very back of the giant convention center. They even had to take out a wall to allow for more people to watch. It was insane.
The of live streaming and Twitch has exploded viewership of esports in a way I don't think anyone really thought possible.
The prize pools are getting bigger, the viewership numbers are getting bigger, and there's more monetary center. They even had to take out a wall to allow for more people to watch.
Twitch has exploded viewership of esports in a way I don't think anyone really thought possible.
The prize pools are getting bigger, the viewership numbers are getting bigger, and there's more monetary center. They even had to take out a wall to allow for more people to watch.
Twitch has exploded viewership of esports in a way I don't think anyone really thought possible.
The prize pools are getting bigger, the viewership numbers are getting bigger, and there's more monetary center. They even had to take out a wall to allow for more people to watch.
It's all over the place. Now, in addition,
Twitch
players all over the industry, the technologists are as well, constantly creating new innovations for us to play with. So, joining me on the stage today is the lead sponsor of the PC Gaming Show, here to talk about some new goodies. Join me in welcoming from AMD, the CEO, Lisa Su. Lisa,
hello, Sean. How are you?
Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
I'm doing great. I'm just hosting a show. What about you?
I'm just hanging in there, developing some new technology.
That makes sense. I mean, tell me right away about Polaris.
You know what? We are extremely excited about Polaris. You know, Polaris has been in the making for a number of months, and we're getting ready to launch it. And Polaris is all about getting the best gaming experiences to as many gamers as possible. And you know, most gamers have a budget, and it's usually around $100 to $300. That's about 84% of the market. And for us, we're trying to get extremely enthusiast-class performance at those types of price points so that all gamers can enjoy that kind of performance.
And I know it's not just the hardware side, but also the software side.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, we've doubled down on software, you know, game-ready drivers, working on the new APIs like DX12 and Vulkan. And we have a little bit of a treat to show you what we can do with Polaris and the guys at id on the new game Doom.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Doom running on Polaris.
Hi, I'm Marty, and this is Robert. We're back here at id working on a number of updates for Doom, and specifically Doom running on Vulkan. Gamers can look forward to a buttery smooth experience in Doom on Polaris, supporting a wide range of hardware and gamer budgets.
We believe the experience on AMD will be hard to beat across all hardware.
Want to play Doom on your laptop on the train home? Polaris plus Vulkan is going to make that possible. Bottom line is, you're not going to need a $700 video card to enjoy Doom at fantastic frame rates.
Lisa, the box has made a return. Last year we had a box. This year we got a box.
The box is bigger this year.
What's in the box?
Look, hey, we couldn't come to the PC Gaming Show without showing off some new technology. So let's see what we got here. We are showing off for the very first time the entire Polaris lineup, our 3 cards. So let me take you through them. First, let's start with the Radeon RX 480. This is our newest card for premium VR. And this is disruptive. This gets premium VR at $199 and above price points, and we love this card, going on sale starting June 29th. And then we have 2 other cards here, which are pretty exciting as well. We have the RX 470 and the RX 460. The 470 is really focused on excellent performance per watt, so it's 2.8x over the previous generation. And you get full HD experiences, 1080p running 60 frames per second. Gorgeous card. We'll have many, many different versions of this from our add-in board partners. And then we have the 460, which is really focused on esports. So I heard about all those esports fans in the audience. This guy is going to be the best card in the industry. Less than 75 watts, cool, fast. I think you're going to love these cards. So we're really excited about our new technology here.
Thank you, Lisa. And you know, it's not just, you know, you're talking to me about VR yesterday, and it's not just that these support existing technologies. You introduced to me the word a VR backpack, which I was completely confused by yesterday. Talk to me a little bit about that today.
So it's one of the cool things. I mean, you know, we're super excited about VR. VR has the opportunity to put incredible number of new applications there. And it's not just about the hardware, but it's about how we work with our OEMs. So my friend Renee here, part of the AMD Red team, is showing off a new Alienware reference design using the RX 480. And you can see the entire PC is in that backpack with the graphics card, and you're able to run, full high definition VR experiences with this reference design. So is that cool or what?
I mean, so this is the sort of thing that you could like take to an open field and be able to just wander around as opposed to just being in a room doing what I do, like punching the wall when I'm playing a VR game.
That's absolutely right. Who wants to be sitting down? You want to be able to do everything that you want to do with the VR experience. And this is really just the beginning with what we can do with the Radeon RX series.
Now, in terms of working with developers, you mentioned CroTeam earlier. Tell me a little bit about your work with CroTeam.
Yeah, so look, I think VR is about the entire ecosystem, the graphics cards, the OEMs, but it's also about the software. We have been working on new software called Liquid VR, which makes it easier for people to deliver VR experiences. CroTeam is ultra famous for all their work with Serious Sam, and what we've been trying to do is help them develop VR content actually using our multiple GPU features. So what I'd like to say is, we each have 2 eyes. Don't you think we should have 2 GPUs?
That is perfectly logical.
So let's see some of what CroTeam is doing. It's really exciting.
Serious Sam in VR.
Looks to me like things just got seriously real. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Get ready to get serious.
I still laugh.
We love Serious Sam, so.
Now, outside of GPUs, tell me about the CPU side of things at AMD.
All right, that's a little bit of a secret. But look, we love CPUs. We think they really go in a pair, and we've been doing quite a bit of development on CPUs. We have a new development called Zen. Zen is going first into enthusiast class desktop processors for gamers, and we've really optimized around high performance, 8 cores, 16 threads, really exciting stuff. Sean, I wanted to bring the lab here, but I needed the engineers to do some work. So
that would have been an odd show to have the lab on stage, and I'm glad that you brought the video to allow us to take a look at the new Summit Ridge line.
Exciting update from the AMD Bring Up Lab. We've been testing out the Zen core, and we've been doing our integration level tests, our feature enablement, and we have Summit Ridge running Doom.
Lisa, thank you so much for coming out today. It's been a pleasure to see all the new goodies.
we are extremely excited about what we can do this year. And Sean, thank you. And all PC gamers, AMD is for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Su from AMD. And again, thanks for putting on the show again this year. It's a lot of fun. Now, let's talk about video games. Our upcoming title is from the makers of Life is Strange and Remember Me, the studio Don't Nod. Let's take some first exclusive look at some gameplay footage of Vampire.
I know I should feel something. So why don't I? What does it mean? That I'm dead too?
Steady, boys. We've got one of them here. I've got
me!
Awfully different from Life is Strange. Eh? Now, our next guests were here last year where they were talking about the updates to their Gore engine technology, and here they're excited to talk about upcoming content. It's for Killing Floor 2. Let's welcome Tripwire Interactive's John Gibson. John, great to see you again. It is a pleasure. John, please join me here, and I'm going to ask you the easiest question ever. What's coming up with Killing Floor 2?
What's coming up? Okay, so Killing Floor 2, it's been out in early access for a little while. It came out last year, and we put out 4 major content packs for it. We have a really exciting one coming up called Bullseye, and it's got more weapons, more ways to kill the monsters, more way to kill players as the monsters. It's really exciting.
You get to play as a Zed.
You get to play as the Zeds.
No. Now, in terms of that experience of having it in early access, what has that been like to have so many people getting to play for so long and giving you the feedback leading up to this content patch?
Oh, it's been really great. We've learned so much. You know, we've developed analytic system to measure, how, what people like, what people don't like, because it's really hard when you have like 1 million people like all shouting things at you at the same time to tell what you really need to change. But in this upcoming update, we've added a lot of their feedback into the game and really retuned things based on that feedback. So it's been a great feedback loop.
That's so cool. And you brought today some footage of Bullseye. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. John, you're going to have to walk me through a little bit of that action. Tell me what we just saw.
Okay, so you saw the new sharpshooter perk. It's all about killing the monsters from a long range. You saw the really cool new weapon, the Horzine Tech railgun. It's this beast railgun that can knock those giant monsters right on their butts. New characters. We've got some community maps that we're taking official.
Yeah, no, let's walk me through that process. How did that go from just something the community made to actually being part of the game proper?
So we had this community mapping contest called the Grindhouse Mapping Contest. And so now we're taking those best maps, we're helping them polish them up, and we're shipping them as part of the game.
That's so cool.
So people in the community are actually getting their content in the full game.
And I mean, we've been using the term full game. Killing Floor 2 has been in early access for a long time. What's coming up next down the line? When does it leave early access?
Well, we're planning on it leaving early access this fall. So we can officially announce that this fall you're going to be able to get your hands on the full version of the game. And also one thing really exciting, actually I'd like to do right now. I'm sorry, I wouldn't normally pull my phone out in the middle of an interview, but you know, all that cool stuff that you just saw. Hold on. It's live right now.
Oh, that's
you can play the update right now.
Did you actually do anything on your phone, or is that just a prop phone?
That's just the sound. But somebody on the other side of the planet pushed a button that released the update.
Okay, no, that makes a lot more sense.
That was their cue.
Yeah, because I don't know if you could hear this in the audience, but when he hit it, it actually began to play a sound. And I was like, that's a lot of effort. You could have just said it, right?
I could have.
Well, John, I understand there's something extra you wanted to talk about today.
Yes, there is. Just real quick, for Killing Floor 2, for those of you that haven't got to try it, we're starting a free weekend on Steam, starting Thursday, running the Monday. So if you want to play it, you haven't got a chance, you want to fight as the monsters, because we just added that, go do that. We do have one more thing.
Well, John, what's the one more thing?
Well, actually, if you don't mind, I'll take over, hosting the show for a minute. We have from Oculus Development, Anna Sweet to help us announce.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Anna Sweet from Oculus. Anna, welcome. Come join us. Anna, what are you doing here?
Well, I've known the team at Tripwire for a long time, so I'm really excited to be here today to help them announce a new game called Killing Floor Incursion. If you think the Killing Floor universe is intense, wait until you check it out in VR with Oculus Touch. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I understand this is not a translation of the current Killing Floor 2. Instead, it is an entirely new experience in VR. Let's take a look at Killing Floor in VR. John, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play this game. That looks so scary, man.
It's scary.
And I mean, like, completely outside of the horror element to it. I mean, that must have been a real interesting new space trying to figure out how to translate some of the gunplay experiences from Killing Floor into virtual reality.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that's so exciting about working on virtual reality. When we got the touch controllers, we're like, this is really exciting, but how are we going to use it? We're really sailing in uncharted waters for the first time in years as game developers. So we're like, how do you model recoil in VR? How do you move? How do you, and solving all of those problems, it's been challenging, but also very exciting.
What's one of the most interesting things that you think, like especially the recoil one? How does that work?
The recoil is shooting, you don't want the gun pointing up here, but their hand feels like it's pointing that direction.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You have to be really subtle with the recoil, but you really want them to feel powerful. So that's been one of the real challenges.
And I'm curious, Anna, you work with a lot of different people and different developers in VR. How do these sort of lessons translate to other titles?
It's really exciting. This is sort of a complete ability to rewrite every genre and remake all the rules. And we just see developers doing incredible things. It wasn't that long ago, we didn't even know if first-person shooters would work in virtual reality. And now you have a team like Tripwire who's just redefining the genre. So it's a great time for gaming.
Well, Anna, I understand that there is an additional title that you wanted to talk about in the VR experience.
That's true. So I'm not sure if you'd call it a first-person shooter or maybe more of a ballet, but the team at Superhot has been hard at work creating a new experience that really drops gamers into a Matrix-like encounter. So we're really excited to announce that Superhot will be coming as well for Oculus Touch, and I think we have a new trailer.
That's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, John Gibson from Tripwire Interactive and Anna Sweet from Oculus. Thank you so much for coming out to talk to us about first-person VR. And now it's time to take a look at that Superhot VR trailer. Still like this. This is my favorite part of that whole trailer. Now Now, the next video piece coming up is from one of my favorite developers of all time, Obsidian. They made Fallout New Vegas, made Pillars of Eternity, and their upcoming RPG asks the question, what if evil won? Let's take a look at Tyranny.
For centuries, Kairos the Overlord has conquered the known world. Dissent has been quelled. And those who once boasted of their right to rule are forced to kneel. In Kairos' empire, the execution of justice is paramount. The lawless will be broken, made to feed the flames of war. Those found deserving of authority may rise, picked from the ashes, to be the enforcers, spearheads of the cause, to judge the accused and strike down those foolish enough to resist. As the final conquest draws near, you can institute the law from above or use the banner to institute your own. The destiny of nations is yours to decide.
Oh, my wallet. I will continue to buy everything you make, Obsidian. Thank you. Now, our next game that's coming up is a futuristic horror game made by the creators of Layers of Fear. Let's take a look at Observer.
What the?
An interesting teaser trailer, and here to unpack it for us is Rafal Basai from Blooper Team. Rafal, welcome.
Hello.
Good to see you. Nice shirt. Hey,
thank you.
Look at that. Nice branding.
Yeah, you're looking good as well.
This is a nice floral tie. Yeah. I recently learned the word paisley. Oh, cool. Now, right away, I just want to ask, what sort of game is Observer?
Actually, it will be a little bit impolite, but I will need to answer your question with a different question. Oh. So, what would you do if your fears got hacked and used against you?
I would have a lot of spiders used against me.
Yeah, so imagine that this one sentence actually sets the premise for the whole game, but let me delve a little bit deeper into what Observer is. So, it's a hidden horror game in which you play as Dan, who is a member of a special police unit that actually is called Observers, and their job is to hack other people's minds and memories. So you can imagine that you will witness a lot of twisted visions along the way in the game.
I mean, the setting is really evocative with all the digitization on the walls. Talk me about the cyberpunk setting.
Yeah, so we are setting the game in a cyberpunk universe, but then again, it's not something you know from American movies. We are setting the game in an Eastern European setting, and we are having this fight between the high-tech environment, the holograms covering the dusty and destroyed, devastated buildings and stuff like that.
Now, I have to ask, there's a lot of different spreads in the horror genre, of some a little more story-focused, some a little more pure horror jump scare focused. Where does Observer lie in terms of gameplay?
Yeah, so it will be a full-fledged horror experience, but as with Layers of Fear, we are focusing on deep narrative and environmental storytelling. But then again, you play as a detective and an observer, so you will need to use your technology to actually scan the environment and hack other people's minds. So again, what would you do if your fears got hacked and used against you?
It would be upsetting. Let's take a look at some first ever exclusive gameplay footage of Observer.
Keep your voice down. He'll hear you.
Who will?
He's coming. I can hear him out there. He won't take me. I won't let him take me.
I'm gonna have to toughen up so I can play all the scary games that are being introduced this year. It looks so good. Our next guest is going to be taking over hosting for me for just a little bit. I'm very excited to hear about his game, Drop Zone. Please join me in welcoming from Sparky Pants, Jason Coleman. Take it away, Jason.
Thank you. We're excited to announce an all-new RTS-style game called Drop Zone. At Sparky Pants, we're veterans of RTS development, but more importantly, we are huge RTS fans. And we believe great competitive RTSs start with 1v1. In Drop Zone, each player controls 3 pilots with abilities they've configured before the match using our gear system. Drop Zone combines the strategy of a classic RTS with the fast-paced tactical combat of a MOBA, all in an intense 15 minutes.
And I'm back. Jason nailed it. And there are never too many RTSs. Now, our next guests were here last year. They are the makers of the game Arma 3, that is an absolute sensation on the modding scene and a brilliant game in its own right. They're here today to talk about their upcoming expansion that is the culmination of years of work, Arma 3 Apex. Joining me will be Jay Crow from Bohemia Interactive. Jay. Hey, Jay.
Mr. Nine, sure.
Good to see. Oh, Mr. Nine. Ooh, I like that title.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Maybe just let me say also thank you for being here. It's, at Bohemia, we are big advocates of the PC gaming, so it's a real pleasure to celebrate PC gaming and PC game developers. So yeah, on behalf of the Arma 3 team back in the Czech Republic, yeah, it's great to be here.
It's wonderful to have you. Thank you, Jay. So, I mean, right away, tell me a little bit about the big content that's coming up for you.
Yeah, well, last year we were here, like you said, we showed off Tanoa, 100 square kilometers of South Pacific jungly archipelago terrain. The kind of place where you can walk in an hour for one direction and always be finding something new. So what we're here to discuss today is, I guess, how a player is going to explore this terrain. What weapons and vehicles are they going to have? We also have a little teaser trailer of the 4-player co-op campaign as well, and maybe also a little teaser at the end as well.
Yeah, I mean, like the amount of content that you guys have been working on over the last 3 years is tremendous. I mean, a lot of games have a 3-year development cycle and then they release, but Arma 3 has been continuing development on Arma 3 for 3 years now.
Yeah, that's right. We call it the road to Apex, and it's been a long road. And the kind of vehicles and weapons that we've got lined up for the expansion itself, 13 new weapons, and we kind of see those as a mix of old meets new. So we've got some old favorites coming back, some AKs, some RPGs, and these are in the hands of our French-speaking criminal faction, Syndicate. And this is sort of counterbalanced by more cutting-edge modern weaponry in the hands of our special forces. And the vehicles, which we've been taking the most time over, we've been focusing on like new classes of vehicle, new ways for our players to explore these huge terrains. We have these monstrous VTOL aircraft that can carry other vehicles inside them. They're so big. Then we have these little sort of nimble, light, fun to play with light strike vehicles. So you can sort of get your squad, pile in, and just jet around the terrain on those.
I mean, the thing that's always amazing about the Arma games is that not only is this a ton of content for the game proper, but modding is obviously a huge part of Arma 3. How did you design the content with modding in mind?
Well, I think starting with the terrain maybe, alone, all of the mods and game modes that you know and that you love, we can expect these to be sort of coming back with Apex and getting this fresh new setting, this jungly island terrain. And the weapons and vehicles sort of complement that. They help players maybe create also new kinds of scenarios, because we have the structure and the composition of the terrains, these islands, these jungles. It's something that we haven't seen before. And aside from that, I think the part of the world that we're exploring, the South Pacific, it's such a beautiful part of the world. And it has kind of this also quite difficult or sometimes sad history. And we know that our modders are they're the kind of gamers that will go out there and make new scenarios based on that and inspired by that. And we're really looking forward to seeing what they come up with.
And I'm excited now to start off this world exclusive, the very first look at Arma 3 Apex.
Delta 1-0. Be advised that my call sign complete. Now moving to objective London. Out. Roger. On charge. EID all packed. Go when ready. Come on, drop. On it. Flash. Go, go!
Jay, you snuck a release date in on us.
Yeah, we might have seen the first announcement of our release date. That's the 11th of July, or July 11th, if we're going English simplified.
I didn't even know when you said it first. I'm so glad you translated it back to American.
And aside from that, maybe you might have seen snuck in there as well was, right now the guys back in Prague are staying up late watching the show, helping us out. They've just pushed the button on, hopefully, push the button on a special Apex sneak preview build. So if you've pre-ordered Apex and if you're on the development branch, right now you're downloading all of those.
Right now?
Yeah, right now you're downloading those weapons and vehicles and Tanwar itself, of course. So your ISP is going nuts, and yeah, a few gigabytes coming down the pipe right now.
That's awesome. So, I mean, mods could be part of the official launch date now.
Well, exactly. We have a few weeks. You can kind of get on board, help us with our, I guess, sort of beta testing before this release of July 11th. And we'll see, yeah, everything that we know and love in splendid green hell fashion.
That's awesome, Jay. Thank you so much for coming out. Jay Crow from Bohemia Interactive and Arma 3 Apex.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Now, our next title is from Bulkhead and Square Enix. It tries to answer the question, are there robots on Europa? Let's take a look at Turing Test.
Turing Test is a first-person puzzler set on Jupiter's ice moon Europa. We started with a common science fiction question: is there life on Europa? And we went to scientific advisors to try and get an idea of what that life would actually be. So we're telling a science fiction story, and it is really fictionalized, and we have lasers and all this kind of stuff, but it's based in an underlying reality of wanting to tell a story that could actually be true.
The original prototype was really cool because what happened when we saw people play it is they instantly understood what was happening. They understood the mechanics of the game. It's kind of a game where you pick up and you can just play it. You learn through the mechanics, and that's something that we wanted to push in terms of design. We wanted people from any background to be able to come and pick up the controller and find it a fun experience to play.
When the team showed me the Turing Test, I thought it was a great development on that last game. You feel a lot more involved in the world, you have a lot more control over the environment, and it just opens the world up to a lot more possibilities, really.
We present the player with, a linear story that they can progress through. But as well as this linear story, there's also elements underneath that will change the meaning of the story for the player as they experience it. Developing the game has been about that challenge of making something functional but beautiful.
Just a beautiful video piece. Thank you so much, Bulkhead and Square Enix. Our next guest taking the stage is here to talk about how scary it is to drive across the country. From Finji, join me in welcoming Heather Penn.
Hi. So Overland is a survival strategy game where you take a road trip across a post-apocalyptic North America. Every level you visit is procedurally generated, and you have to manage your fuel, your weapons, and other supplies by making the right calls along the road. We're currently running a limited first access alpha program on itch.io, and starting right now, we have 1,000 keys available. So check that out. You can visit our site at overland-game.com. Okay, let's look at the trailer.
What a lovely game to say everything is stressful, right? Once again, that was Overland. Coming up next, we have a game with extremely high ambitions to be the next big space sim. Let's take a look at Dual Universe. To join me in talking about what we just saw, let's welcome from Nova Cork, Jean-Christophe Vailly. Bonjour. Welcome to the stage.
Thanks.
Now, right away, I mean, there's so many elements that we're seeing in that trailer. What is Dual Universe about at its core?
Okay, so it's a sci-fi MMO, obviously. And for me, it's an old dream that I have as a gamer, and I think I'm not the only one. It's to build, this online virtual world where basically everything is possible, where you can build anything you want and become anything you want. So that's not a very new story. I mean, there have been a lot of games before saying that. So what exactly do we bring? As you see in the video, the first thing is that you can really build anything. You can build your ship, you can build your space station, you can build your house, your city. You can actually harvest minerals from the ground in the planets. Everything is editable. We've done a voxel technology to do that. The second thing, which is very important, is that all this takes place in what we call a continuous single shard universe. That means that everybody plays in the same world at the same time. There's no instances, no loading screen, no zone where you have to queue and things like that. So if you want to have a huge city with thousands of people in it, you can do that. So there's a lot of technology to do this. And
so I mean, I gotta ask, there's a whole lot of space sim type games. I mean, there's already EVE Online, there's Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky people are buzzing about. How does Dual Universe fit in with those? How does it contrast with them?
There are a lot of aspects of the gameplay we have that you will find in other games. But what we do is we put everything together into this huge world that is shared by everyone. And it changes everything. Because if you build a ship, I mean, perhaps you're going to build a ship that is going to be very successful on the in-game markets. And it's going to be the ship that everybody pilots almost. So you can become famous, you can become rich, you can have your personal story. If you win a war, I mean, you can actually change the balance of power in this world. So everything has a meaning, everything is important, everything matters. And people are able to create this collective story together. And we've put a lot of emergent gameplay also in this. So you can create political systems, you can create your economy, you can create your organizations, and a lot of things like that, so that people can really build up anything.
So, I mean, you're talking so much about player-to-player interaction. How do you keep everyone together? I mean, I assume that the universe is going to be large, as just sort of classic in a space sim. Walk me through that.
So everybody starts at the same place, in the Ark ship, on the alien planets, and then you spread from there. Based on the technology you unlock, you will go further and further. So there's no limit to the size of the universe, but there's a limit to how far you're going to explore it. That's one thing. The other thing is that we are concerned about creating quality content, because we don't create the content, players do. So the idea is that every force we put in the game, we put also a counter force, so that we have equilibrium emerging between the players.
So you don't just have some weird break where the only correct thing to do in the game is do mining.
No, players are going to choose what they like and what they don't like, also through the markets in game. Something that is nice is going to sell more, and if it sells more, then you're going to see more of them. It's that simple, like in real life, actually.
Yeah. So when is this game going to be available?
So we have a lot of work to do. So this is just a pre-alpha that we've seen. We hope to shoot an alpha, a closed alpha, at the beginning of 2017. So that's the schedule. Until then, we're very fond of creating a large community of people talking with us, discussing with us the game. We really love that. We love the feedback. We already have people on the forums, on Twitter, Facebook. So that's what we want to do. And we're going to launch also a community website, which I like. Cool. The idea is that you can create a character already, and you can also start to create an organization like, Pirate Guild or something, and recruit and start a role play on this website. We're going to launch that in a couple of weeks.
That's awesome. I mean, having the community focus, always so important in this sort of game. And I'm really excited to see what Dual Universe brings as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Jean-Christophe Bailly from NovaCore, thank you for talking to us about Dual Universe today. Now, coming up next is not exactly a game. It is about the tools of the trade for gamers. It's time for us to take a look at a video that celebrates the mouse and keyboard.
What makes PC gaming different? It's the mouse and keyboard.
I mean, they're really part of the reason why we even have point-and-click adventures, RTSs, action RPGs. I mean, even FPSs.
The mouse is our eyes and our aim.
It's an extension of our reflexes.
It's all about freedom and customization.
PC gamers care about what's under the hood. They care about how it all works.
You've got people who are passionate about the type of mechanical key switches they use.
My favorite key, the tilde, hands down.
Just imagine PC gaming without a mouse and keyboard.
When I'm playing Bastion in Overwatch and waffle stomping newbies, I need the precision that only a mouse can give me. If I had to pick one word to describe a mouse and keyboard, total control.
Speed.
Maybe just total.
Letters.
Clicking.
And this is a particularly apt segment because coming up next, we have the sequel to a console RTS called Halo Wars. Joining us from 343 Industries to talk about Halo Wars 2, it's Dan Ayoub. Sam!
Hey!
Hey! Welcome!
How's it
Good to
going?
see you.
Good to see you.
Come join me on this
Thank
awesome,
you.
comfy chair. Now, you're making Halo Wars 2, and it's going to be on PC. Tell me about how that is just the awesomest decision you've ever made.
That could very well be the best decision I've ever made. So obviously, first Halo Wars, it's been a while since that. Still the best-selling console RTS of all time. But one of the big things we heard from people coming out of it, in particular PC gamers, is, well, this just feels like a natural fit for PC. Why aren't you guys doing that? So with Halo Wars 2, we wanted to make sure that we were, coming out on Win 10 as well. So the product's it's gonna release on both platforms at the same time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, on February 21st, 2017, it's going to be coming out, and we're on the floor around this week as well. So it's been a really great move for us because obviously that's just a genre that fits so naturally.
Absolutely.
As we were just looking at for a mouse and keyboard interface. So it's been great.
So this is some gameplay footage from Halo Wars 2. Just walk me through what's happening.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a cut from the first mission of the game. And really what we're doing is establishing the UNSC presence on the Ark.
The division was
Now,
amazing.
What we really wanted to do, we had a few goals with the game. What we're looking at now is, well,
Especially Jericho, who
great
finally
graphics
found what
and
he was
really
looking
great player
for.
feedback as well. Big focus on tracer fire, making it very clear who's shooting at you, what you're shooting at. I really like to call it internally an action RTS.
Ubisoft, you have
very quick to
fucked up
action
so
and a
many
lot
games.
of fun just blowing
So many
stuff up.
games.
So there's some
And yet-
spectacular explosions.
And yet, you have delivered
some
me
great effects.
the only thing that I've ever
at this
wanted is to
point,
be able to just shoot everything.
There's some good boom there. We're going to start to see some flame effects pretty quickly. We just wanted to put a lot of focus on just making the game look beautiful. And a huge focus on control as well. And really, how do you make an RTS for everyone, right? RTS can be a bit of a...
very daunting genre.
Absolutely, right? It can be really challenging. Always my favorite genre when I was growing up. I was a big PC RTS player. So I'm really sensitive to the fact that, a lot of my gamer friends growing up were like, oh, that's really scary. I don't know about that. So you're going to see, there's just some great effects and some great flame right there. We're going to focus a lot on very classic multiplayer modes that RTS players want and expect, but we've also got a number of brand new styles of multiplayer that we're going to be talking more about as we get closer to launch, that is going to be something that a more casual gamer or somebody who's really never played an RTS before can jump in and enjoy.
I actually do want to dig into that because you use terms like action RTS and making sure that there's stuff for the casual. That's obviously going to be tricky to balance with how many people are obsessed with the competitive RTS scene.
Yep.
What's the plan there?
So yeah, no, great question. The plan is really to treat them as different people, right? I mean, these are very, very different kinds of gamers. So we announced the beta today at the Microsoft conference. It's going to focus on a couple of our more competitive classic style RTS modes, like your classic deathmatch mode, for example, where you and I build our respective bases, we build our armies, and we go at one another. And for me, that's going to be one of those very classic modes that your more hardcore RTS player is going to want to enjoy. We've got some other modes coming, again, that we're not talking about at this point, but that are going to be very simple, a lot quicker to get into the action, take some of the strain off of resource management and things like that, so people can just focus on building a really badass army and getting into the action.
And of course, I have to ask about the fact you're talking about releasing on different platforms. How did you sort of deal with the control puzzle there?
Yeah, one thing definitely want people to hear is, we're not just porting console controls over to PC. Mouse and keyboard is very, very different, and we wanted to be very, very true to that. We've got a number of things we wanted to take advantage of, like groupings, for example, right? Multiple groupings on a mouse and keyboard. Just the quick nature of it, the ability to navigate the map really, really quickly, as well as a few other PC functions that, again, we're going to be talking a little more about. But yeah, so it's always for me, like, what's the best interface for the console or the PC that you're playing on, right? So we have a specific set of controls for that console controller, and we have a different set of controls for the mouse and keyboard player, so it feels a lot more, specialized.
Well, Dan, I'm really excited you came out to share Halo Wars 2 with us.
My pleasure.
Dan Ayub from 343 Industries. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
See, as I said before, you can never have too many RTSs, which is part of the reason why I'm so excited that we've gotten the chance to see so many of them come out here today. Now, coming up next, there is a game whose title I'm not allowed to say. They informed me that I needed to wait for him to say it, so in 30 seconds, we will be able to find out the title of the upcoming game. It is from the makers of Insurgency, from New World Interactive. Let's welcome Andrew Spearin.
Reappearance, and truly a big moment for us. It has taken perseverance, adaptation, and teamwork to find success as an indie developer in this highly competitive business. By no coincidence, these are the qualities required to win a match of Insurgency. On behalf of the entire team at New World, led by our game director and CEO, Jeremy Blum, we are proud to reveal today our second game, releasing on Steam Early Access next month. Following the trailer, visit PCGamer.com for an exclusive preview. We hope to see you on the front lines in Day of Infamy.
Radio! Someone find me a bloody radio! Bloody hell! You took the seating there, didn't you? Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Come on, this is one section. Request immediate barrage on objective Able. Over! All right, lads, we've got a war to win!
Day of Infamy, I can finally say it. Day of Infamy. Love those beautiful, different environments. Now, coming up next to announce a new game are the makers of Chivalry Medieval Warfare. Join me in welcoming Steve Piggott. Steve, I want to ask about your upcoming new game, Mirage Arcane Warfare, where I understand you're kind of taking the sword fighting combat from Chivalry and putting Magic in there.
Yeah, that did it in a nutshell. I mean, Chivalry was the first game we made. It was basically medieval time sword fighting, first person, multiplayer. What we've done is add Magic into that mix and really add the Magic into the sword fighting system. So basically in this game, you're just going to be chopping off heads with swords and blasting people apart with Magic.
And I mean, the thing that you took the time to talk about a little yesterday with me is that this combat it's very much so about watching the animations of your opponent. It's a very deliberate. Talk to me about how you design the combat for this sort of experience.
Yeah, for us it's really important it has a deliberate feel to it, and that really shines through in the fact that you can block any attack. You can block any projectile, a guy charging at you, it doesn't matter, you can block it. If I hit you before you hit me, it's actually going to interrupt your attack. So people are really wary of each other, they're watching each other. It's a really tense combat situation. It kind of feels like a duel. We are going back and forth, attacking and blocking at the last second. And for us, that's really important to actually sell the deliberateness of the combat and get people to really think about what their opponent's doing before they make actions.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Dark Souls.
Yeah, we like to think of it as bringing like fighting game mechanics into a competitive multiplayer first-person shooter.
Well, we have a chance to look at an exclusive gameplay trailer for Mirage that I want to hop into right now so we can get the chance to see that multiplayer action right now.
We'll join